everyone, thank you for coming or welcome back. My name is Jillian, also known as Jillian Jakes, and today I'm going to show you how I make bagels. Now this is a really great recipe to try making at home because you can add whatever flavorings you want into your bagels. As well, this is the kind of recipe that you mix the night before and bake the next morning. So if you feel like waking up a little bit early on the weekend, then you can have fresh, hot out of the oven bagels ready just in time for a late breakfast. So as I said, we are going to start the night before by mixing our dough. Now I do recommend having a stand mixer for this recipe because it is a rather stiff dough. If you don't have a mixer, you can mix it all by hand. It's just going to take a little extra time and a little bit more effort. So we are going to combine together our warm water, our yeast, our flour, and our salt. This is really just a throw it all in the bowl and go kind of recipe because that's all the ingredients that we're going to need. So we are going to put it in our mixer and turn it on with a dough hook attachment to about a medium speed. And you're going to let this go for about 10 minutes in our mixer. It's a long time, and again, if you're mixing this by hand, depending on your strength, you're probably going to want to go for about 15 to 20 minutes kneading by hand. So let your dough mix in your mixer or by hand until it is almost completely combined, and then you can go ahead and add any flavors that you want to put on the inside of your dough. Here I decided to make half of my bagel cinnamon-raisin, so I just went ahead and weighed my dough, divided it in two, and added my flavors to half. Now, a couple of things you want to keep in mind when adding your flavorings. First of all, you want to make sure that you add them at the last minute possible, especially if you're adding something like seeds or nuts that are really sharp, because that's just like adding little knives to your dough. And if you added it earlier on, it would affect the development of your dough. As well, if you're adding something like raisins or dried blueberries, you want to make sure that you rehydrate your fruit overnight so that the dried fruit isn't pulling moisture out of your dough while it's resting. So go ahead and add in whatever flavorings you want. Again, as I said, I'm doing a cinnamon raisin bagel, so I added cinnamon and raisins to half, and then you're just going to mix that for about a minute until it's nice and combined. At this point, you can go ahead and take it out of your mixer, form it into a nice little bowl, and you're going to let it rest for an hour. After an hour, you are going to come back and your dough should be all nice and relaxed and ready to shape. You're going to divide these into 120 to 125 gram portions. I normally get a baker's dozen, so it's 13 bagels out of this. So if you get like maybe 12 in a small one or 13 in a small one, don't worry about it at all. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cut all of your dough into 120 gram pieces, setting them aside as you go. And then when you come back, you're going to start with the first one, so it's had a little bit of time to rest, and we're going to shape them. So to shape them, what you're going to do is you're going to take your dough and you're going to sort of lightly stretch it into form a rough rectangle shape. Then you're going to set it down. You're going to fold the top half, or the part that's furthest away from you, to the middle, and then the bottom half, which is closest to you, up to the middle. Then you're going to fold your new top and your new bottom to meet. And I like to press it down just with the heel of my hand. What you want to do here is just form a nice seal so that your wound up little log doesn't spring back open. So you're just going to seal it, and then I like to lightly roll it out just to form about a 6-inch log, and then just go ahead and go through all of your little dough portions. And then we're going to put all of these pieces onto a lightly oiled tray, and they're going to wrap up and go in the fridge overnight. Now, when I say overnight, I mean anywhere from 14 to 18 hours. So if you shape these at about 6 o'clock, then you can go ahead and they will be ready for you to go at 7 or 8 the next morning if you want to have them ready for breakfast. So again, these go in the fridge overnight, and then you're going to come back the next day or 2 minutes later if you're like me and you have a swap ready. So now we're going to do the final shaping of our bagels, and we're going to put the hole in the middle. So the way I like to do this is by rolling them out just a little bit at the ends and then I tie a knot with the two ends, and then I use my hand, I put it through the hole in the middle of the bagel, and I press down the knot to sort of seal it into a nice rounded piece. Now I like to leave the knot showing just a little bit when I shape my bagels. If you don't like this, then you can go ahead and roll it out. I just find that it makes a sort of little handle that makes it easy to rip the bagel apart after it's cooked. If you like the knot there like I do, then you can go ahead and leave it. What you really want to make sure though is that this is nice and sealed, because it is possible for the knot to come undone while it's cooking, and then you'll just sort of have a U-shaped bagel. It won't form a complete circle. So we're going to get these all knotted up, and then we're going to let them rest for 30 minutes. So next up is the boiling part. Now all bagels are boiled. If you don't boil it, it's not a bagel. Now the boiling part is really important to these bagels. It's what helps get them their nice, shiny, beautiful crust on the outside. So we are going to boil these in a honey solution. So you're going to take your pot. If you can find the biggest pot you have, then go ahead and do that. And I don't mean biggest by tallest, I just mean widest, so that you can fit as many bagels on the surface as you can. I just have a little one here because it's the only one that works with my burner. But you're going to go ahead and fill that up, put it on to boil, and you're going to add a nice little pour of honey. Now honey is something that is traditionally done with Montreal style bagels, so if you don't want honey, then go ahead and leave it out. I don't find that it actually adds much sweetness to the bagel. I just think it helps with the crust a little bit. So we are going to take our nice rested bagels, we're going to put them in our boiling water, and I like to let them go for about 40 seconds on each side, so flip halfway, and then you can go ahead and take them off, put them back on a parchment lined tray before they bake. Now at this point, if you're dipping them in anything, then you're going to dip them while they are still just a little bit wet out of your boiling water. Here I've got some black sesame seeds. You can use whatever you like, sesame seeds, poppy seeds. So dip your bagels, put them on your parchment lined tray, and then they're going to go into a 425 degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Now what you want to see when you take them out is that they are nice and beautiful and a golden color all around. Make sure that the bottoms are nicely browned. If you need to flip the trays top to bottom in your oven, then go ahead and do that. And they're done. These are your bagels. I do recommend eating them the same day, preferably when they're hot out of the oven. If it is the next day, then you can go ahead and they're still fantastic. You can give them a nice toast just to reheat them. Spread them with cream cheese or butter or whatever you like. And these are fantastic for breakfast or a second breakfast or a midnight snack, any time of the day really. I hope you try making these. I hope you like them, and I'll see you next time. Bye.